At age 70, a lot changes in the body. Your strength is no longer the same, your energy levels may fluctuate, and minor infections or aches and pains become more frequent. But that doesn't mean it's too late to take care of your health. In fact, it's now that you need to pay extra attention. What few people know is that at this stage of life, your body begins to absorb certain nutrients less efficiently. This means that even a good diet may not be enough to keep everything working properly. This is where vitamins come in. They are not just supplements. They are often key ingredients that prevent falls, infections, muscle weakness, memory loss, and even more serious illnesses. And the best part is that we are not talking about anything expensive or difficult to find. With simple and inexpensive choices, it is possible to strengthen the body, improve mood, and ward off a series of problems that affect so many elderly people. This video was made with this in mind, to present 6 essential vitamins for those who are over 70 and want to live with more energy, autonomy, and health. These are vitamins that make a difference in everyday life and can be found in pharmacies, supermarkets, or even in common foods. Oh, and before you continue, make sure you're subscribed to the channel. Here the content is designed to help you live better with more awareness and fewer complications. Now, let's get down to business, and we'll start with a vitamin that many people ignore, which is absolutely essential for keeping your bones strong and your immune system healthy. Vitamin D, the invisible shield against falls and frailty. Few people imagine that a simple vitamin can be decisive in preventing falls, fractures, respiratory infections, and even symptoms of mild depression in the elderly. But this is the reality when we talk about vitamin D. It is without a doubt one of the most important vitamins for those over 70, and unfortunately, it is also one of the most neglected. Vitamin D is responsible for helping the body absorb calcium, the main mineral involved in bone health. Without it, calcium from food or supplements simply isn't utilized properly. This weakens bones, making them more fragile and prone to fractures. And considering that falls are one of the biggest causes of hospitalization and loss of autonomy in the elderly, it's easy to see why vitamin D is so vital. But that's not all. Vitamin D also strengthens the immune system. People with good levels of this vitamin tend to have fewer respiratory infections, fewer flare-ups of inflammatory diseases, and recover more quickly when they do get sick. In addition, there is growing evidence that vitamin D deficiency may be linked to chronic fatigue, persistent muscle pain, and even mood swings. The main source of vitamin D is sun exposure. When your skin is exposed to sunlight, your body naturally produces this vitamin. However, as you age, this production becomes less efficient. Addition, many older people spend more time indoors or wear clothing that covers much of their body, which further reduces natural production. So how do you solve this? The most direct way is through supplementation. The good news is that vitamin D capsules are cheap and easy to find in pharmacies. Many doctors recommend the D3 version, cholecalciferol, which is the most active form of the vitamin. The ideal dosage varies from person to person, but in general, older adults benefit from doses between 1,000 and 2,000 IU per day, always under medical supervision. For those who prefer to supplement their vitamin D intake with their diet, it is worth knowing that vitamin D is present in fatty fish, such as salmon and sardines, in cod liver oil, in egg yolks, and in fortified dairy products. However, the amount in these foods is usually low. Therefore, even with a good diet, supplementation is often still necessary. Another important point, the sun continues to be an ally. Whenever possible and safely, it is recommended to get at least 15 minutes of sun per day, preferably in the early morning or late afternoon, with arms and legs exposed. Even so, it is worth remembering that people with darker skin need more time in the sun to produce the same amount of vitamin D as people with lighter skin. It is essential to understand that vitamin D deficiency does not present clear symptoms at first. The person may just feel more tired, have vague body aches, or a weakened immune system, but over time the consequences become visible: loss of bone mass, muscle weakness, increased risk of falls, fractures, and respiratory diseases. Therefore, prevention is always better than cure. Investing in vitamin D is therefore a smart and affordable way to protect your body from the inside. It is a true invisible shield that acts silently but has a huge impact on your health. And now that you understand the importance of this fundamental nutrient, let's move on to the next vitamin, which is equally powerful, especially when it comes to memory, concentration, and energy for everyday life. Vitamin B12, energy and memory in old age. If vitamin D is a shield for bones and immunity, vitamin B12 is like the fuel that keeps the body and mind functioning. Few people realize, but one of the most common causes of fatigue in the elderly, memory lapses, and even emotional imbalances is directly linked to B12 deficiency. This B vitamin plays a crucial role in the formation of blood cells, the protection of the nervous system, and the production of energy. Without it, the body goes into a forced economy mode, resulting in a constant state of fatigue, mental fogginess, and lack of energy, often mistaken for natural aging, but which could be reversed with a simple vitamin fix. B12 deficiency is especially common in the elderly. This happens for a physiological reason. As we age, the stomach produces less hydrochloric acid, which is essential for releasing vitamin B12 from food. In addition, many elderly people take medications such as omeprazole for a long time, which also impair the absorption of this vitamin. The result, even if they eat well, the body simply cannot use B12 efficiently. Signs of deficiency are not always obvious at first. It is common to see symptoms such as constant tiredness, even after a full night's sleep, loss of appetite and weight loss, tingling in the hands and feet, frequent memory lapses, difficulty concentrating, and irritability. Anemia. In more advanced cases, a lack of B12 can lead to more serious neurological damage, affecting balance and motor coordination. Therefore, it is essential to act quickly. Vitamin B12 supplementation is simple and extremely affordable. It can be taken in the form of sublingual tablets, capsules, or even injections, depending on the degree of deficiency. Sublingual versions are well absorbed and are often recommended for those who want to maintain adequate levels without needing to apply. The supplement. Foods rich in B12 include red meat, liver, eggs, milk, and cheese. However, as we've seen, absorption is often limited in older adults. This means that even if you eat these foods regularly, you may need to supplement. It is also worth mentioning that people who follow diets low in animal protein, such as some elderly people who avoid red meat or have digestive problems, are even more prone to deficiency. And as with vitamin D, B12 can also be deficient even when symptoms are still mild or have not even appeared. The good news is that, with the correction of these levels, the effects are noticeable. More energy throughout the day, mental clarity, improved concentration, and even a return of the desire to perform simple tasks that previously seemed tiring. It is as if the body wakes up again. For those who care for the elderly, this is a vitamin that deserves special attention. In many cases, adjusting B12 levels is enough to restore quality of life and autonomy to people who were being treated incorrectly with only antidepressants or stimulants. So if you or someone close to you are over 70 and feel like your energy isn't what it used to be, or you notice signs of confusion and forgetfulness, maybe the problem is linked to this small but powerful vitamin. Now that you know how vitamin B12 can transform your brain health and mood, let's move on to the next essential vitamin. It's known for its classic role in immunity, but it also works to protect the body from oxidative damage and speed recovery from illness. Vitamin C, the front line against infections. If there is one vitamin that almost everyone recognizes, it is vitamin C. But what many don't know is that after the age of 70, it becomes even more important and, in many cases, underestimated. For seniors, vitamin C is more than just an ally against flu and colds. It is a true line of defense for the entire body. This vitamin has a direct effect on the immune system, helping defense cells to function more efficiently. When the body is exposed to viruses, bacteria, or any foreign agent, vitamin C acts as an immediate booster so that the immune response is fast and effective, and this is essential as older people tend to have a naturally weakened immune system as they age. Additionally, vitamin C it speeds up wound healing, which is essential to prevent more serious infections and cuts or bruises common in this age group. It acts as an antioxidant to fighting free radicals that cause cellular aging, facilitates iron absorption, helping to prevent anemia. It may have beneficial effects on controlling blood pressure, according to some recent research. Another positive point is that this vitamin is cheap, easy to supplement, and is present in many simple everyday foods. Fruits such as orange, acerola, lemon, guava, and kiwi are true vitamin C bombs. A single acerola, for example, can contain up to 30 times more vitamin C than an orange. Still, it's Worth paying attention. Many people think they're getting enough just by drinking orange juice or lemonade, but the concentration of the vitamin depends on the fruit, how it's prepared, and how long the food is exposed to air. Vitamin C is sensitive to heat and light, which means it can easily be lost if food is cooked or left out of the refrigerator for too long. Therefore, supplementation in capsules or effervescent tablets can be a practical and effective way to ensure adequate intake, especially for those who have difficulty eating fruit daily. And the best part, vitamin C is usually very cheap and is available even in popular pharmacies. But be careful, contrary to popular belief, taking large amounts of vitamin C does not bring any extra benefits. The body eliminates excess through urine, and very high doses can cause gastrointestinal discomfort such as diarrhea. In other words, regularity is more important than quantity. Maintaining good levels of vitamin C is one of the simplest ways to strengthen the body and protect against common infections such as colds, flu, and urinary tract infections, which in the elderly can be more dangerous than they seem. By ensuring this basic nutrient, the elderly can count on a more efficient defense and a faster recovery from any challenge. And that is exactly what we want to promote here, small actions that bring big results. Now that we have strengthened our immunity with vitamin C, let's move on to another powerful ally, especially in preventing premature aging and protecting cells against time: vitamin E. Vitamin E, cellular protection for aging with vitality. As the years go by, the body begins to fight not only against diseases, but also against the natural deterioration of cells. This is where vitamin E comes in, one of the main vitamins responsible for protecting the body from the effects of aging. Little talked about in everyday life, it is a true antioxidant shield, especially important for those over 70. The main function of vitamin E is to combat free radicals, unstable molecules that damage the body's cells and accelerate aging. This process, called oxidative stress, is linked to the onset of chronic diseases such as Alzheimer's, Parkinson's, cardiovascular problems, and even certain types of cancer. Additionally, vitamin E plays an important role in the blood circulation, helping to prevent clots and improving flow in the vessels. In brain function, it can contribute to memory and reasoning. For skin health, maintaining elasticity and helping with cell regeneration. In the immune response, strengthening the body's defenses. For the elderly, maintaining a good level of vitamin E means not only preventing diseases, but also preserving autonomy, memory, and mental energy. And the best part, all this with an accessible nutrient, easy to find, and with several natural sources. Top foods rich in vitamin E include vegetable oils, such as sunflower oil, olive oil, and wheat. Germ oil, oil seeds, such as walnuts, almonds, and chestnuts. Seeds, such as sunflower seeds. Green leafy vegetables, such as spinach and kale. For those who have difficulty consuming these foods regularly, taking supplements in capsule form can be a practical option. The versions available in pharmacies are inexpensive, especially when purchased in generic or popular brands. The recommended dose for the elderly should always be guided by a professional, since excess vitamin E can also pose risks, such as interfering with blood clotting. It is important to remember that, as with vitamin C, balance is key. Excessive, unnecessary supplementation will not enhance the effects. On the contrary, it can overload the body. The ideal is to seek a stable, constant level and preferably supplement it with food. Vitamin E works silently. You don't feel its effects immediately, but it's there, protecting your brain, your cells, and your defenses day after day. It's one of those discreet but indispensable allies, especially when it comes to aging healthily, with clarity and autonomy. Now, tell me in the comments, have you ever consumed any food rich in vitamin E or taken a supplement with it? I want to know your experience, and maybe your tip can help other people too. And speaking of cellular protection, the next vitamin takes care of one of the most precious senses in life: vision, as well as strengthening the immune system. In the next chapter, we will talk about vitamin A, another fundamental pillar for maintaining quality of life after 70. Vitamin A, sharp vision and high immunity. After the age of 70, vision health becomes a constant concern. Seeing clearly is not just a matter of comfort, but also of safety and autonomy. And in this regard, vitamin A plays a central role, both in preserving vision and in strengthening immunity and protecting the skin. This vitamin acts directly on the regeneration of retinal cells, especially those responsible for vision in Low light environments. This is why vitamin A deficiency can cause blurred vision, difficulty seeing at night, and in more severe cases, night blindness. But its benefits don't stop there. Vitamin A also, it strengthens the body's physical barriers, such as the skin and mucous membranes, which are the first line of defense against viruses and bacteria. It acts in the production and activation of white blood cells, essential for the immune system. It contributes to cell regeneration, accelerating healing and maintaining the integrity of the skin. On a daily basis, this vitamin helps keep the eyes moist and protected, prevents repeated infections, such as frequent colds and flu, and promotes the integrity of the lungs and intestines, which are highly sensitive areas in the elderly. Vitamin A can be found in two forms: ready to use, retinol, present in foods of animal origin, such as liver, eggs, and full-fat dairy products, in the form of carotenoids, such as beta-carotene, found in plant-based foods such as carrots, pumpkin, sweet potatoes, papaya, and kale. The body converts these compounds into vitamin A as needed. In other words, it is entirely possible to maintain adequate levels with a simple diet, even for those who avoid meat or products of animal origin. For elderly people with eating difficulties or reduced absorption, supplementation may be indicated. Vitamin A capsules are common and inexpensive, but they must be used in very careful doses. Unlike other water-soluble vitamins, excess vitamin A accumulates in the liver and can cause toxic effects, such as headache, nausea, dizziness, and even liver problems. Therefore, whenever supplementation is required, it should be monitored by a health professional. It is worth remembering that one of the early signs of vitamin A deficiency, in addition to poor night vision, can be dry skin and mucous membranes, frequent respiratory infections, and decreased visual sensitivity in low light environments. These symptoms are often ignored or attributed to normal aging, but they can be corrected with simple dietary adjustments and, if necessary, supplementation. Maintaining good levels of vitamin A means ensuring that your eyes, skin, and internal defenses are protected. It means taking care of your external vision and your internal vision, the kind that protects, anticipates problems, and gives you more peace of mind to live independently. In the next chapter, we'll talk about a lesser known but absolutely essential vitamin, folic acid, or vitamin B9. Little talked about outside the world of pregnancy, it plays a powerful role in preventing anemia, brain function, and cell renewal, especially in old age. Vitamin B9, folic acid, the silent support against anemia and forgetfulness. You may have heard of folic acid in conversations about pregnancy, but what almost no one mentions is how essential this vitamin is for those over 70. Also known as vitamin B9, it acts silently in vital processes for the proper functioning of the body, and its absence can cause symptoms that easily go unnoticed. Vitamin B9 is essential for the formation of blood cells, especially red blood cells. It helps in the production of DNA, cell growth, and tissue renewal. In other words, it is like the cement that supports the construction of the body, keeping the cells new and functioning correctly. In the elderly, B9 deficiency can cause anemia, with symptoms such as extreme tiredness, paleness, dizziness, and shortness of breath, memory problems, slow thinking, and even signs that resemble mild dementia, loss of appetite and constant headaches, muscle weakness, and persistent discouragement. This is because, as we age, our bodies can absorb less vitamin B9 from food. In addition, continued use of certain medications, such as diuretics or anticonvulsants, can further hinder absorption. Fortunately, folic acid is present in simple foods that are easy to include in your daily life, such as dark leafy greens, spinach, kale, broccoli, legumes, beans, lentils, chickpeas, citrus fruits, eggs, and liver. However, even with a rich diet, many elderly people are unable to reach the ideal amount. Therefore, supplementation may be indicated, especially in cases of confirmed anemia or in situations of risk of deficiency. Folic acid supplementation is inexpensive, generally well tolerated, and available at any pharmacy. One interesting thing about B9 is that it works in conjunction with vitamin B12. The two form a sort of brain maintenance duo, helping to keep your memory sharp, your nervous system balanced, and your blood healthy. This means that supplementing just one of the two may not provide the full benefits if the other is low. It is important to know that folic acid deficiency often does not present intense symptoms at first. The person simply feels more tired, with slower reasoning, and this can easily be confused with the natural advance of age. Therefore, it is always a good idea to investigate with a professional if these signs are present in your daily life. By maintaining good levels of vitamin B9, you not only avoid problems such as anemia, but you also preserve brain health, energy, and cell renewal. It is another key piece in the puzzle of healthy longevity, and if this content is helping you take better care of your health or the health of someone you love, don't forget to like the video here. This shows that the topic is important and helps us to continue producing quality content, always focused on the well-being of those who need it most. Now, in the next and final chapter, we will bring you a bonus tip that makes all the difference in the absorption and use of all these vitamins. Something simple, practical, and that can boost your results naturally. Bonus tip: the key that enhances all vitamins. After learning about the 6 most important vitamins for people over 70, it's time to talk about something essential is and often overlooked that can enhance all the benefits of these vitamins: the way the body absorbs and uses them. There is no point in taking the best supplements if your body is not prepared to absorb them properly. And this is where 3 simple but extremely effective habits come in. 1. Good hydration. Water is responsible for transporting nutrients, regulating body temperature, and eliminating toxins. A dehydrated body absorbs vitamins and minerals worse, which reduces the effectiveness of supplements and diet. Keeping your body well hydrated with water throughout the day, light teas or coconut water, is a fundamental step. 2. Moderate sun exposure. Especially for the production and activation of vitamin D, daily sun exposure, even for just 15 minutes, helps the body to function better as a whole. Always taking care to avoid excess sun, morning or late afternoon sun is ideal. 3. Combination with correct foods. Some vitamins are better absorbed when combined with sources of healthy fat, such as olive oil, avocado, or nuts. This is the case with vitamins A, D, E, and K, the so-called fat-soluble vitamins. Others, such as vitamin C, promote the absorption of iron when consumed with foods rich in this mineral. With these simple precautions, you can ensure that each capsule, each nutrient-rich meal, is truly fulfilling its role in the body. These are small gestures, but they add up over time and make the difference between simply aging or aging with health, energy, and autonomy. And if you've made it this far, it shows that you care about your well-being or that of someone you love. So take advantage and subscribe to the channel. Here you'll find content made with care and responsibility, always thinking about making life easier for those who are in their prime or taking care of someone who is. Let's continue this journey together. Health is built every day, and it starts with information.